So this is how this song sounds without any mixing.
Don't you know you're mine? Might be right on the right Can't you hear Danny come around again? Danny come around. Danny come around. You hear?
And this is how it sounds after mixing.
Come and go, you don't deny. Don't you know? Don't you know you might be right on time? Can't you hear? Daddy, come.
Hi, this is me, and now I'll show you how I mixed this song. First, there is no kick, snare, drum. All the drum section is not here, but just the loop is present. This is the loop. So I could not process kicks, snare, hi-hats and hi-hats and overheads separately. This is the settings that I have used on this loop. This is the EQ. And this is the Pultec plugin, and then it is sent to this wider plugin, just a little bit of it, and also in the drum bus where I have used this compression, hard compression, and this sound goodizer, this compression, and this saturator at the end. Without them, with all of them. So this is my setting for the drum loop. This is the second drum loop. And the settings, the plugins applied on this are, and the plugins for the second drum loop is just this. Again, it is sent to the drum bus, and just a little bit of wider plugin that I use on the first loop, both of them together. This is the effects of drum bus off and on. Now let's move on to the cymbals pan to the left, which sounds something like this without parametric EQ. This is the EQ setting for the cymbals. Just this. And for the tambourine, pan to the left without any EQ. This is how tambourine sounds with EQ after some saturation, and this compression, both of them together. And these two tracks are being sent to the drum bus. So now let's move on to the guitar sound. There are lots of guitar in this song. First, I have used this guitar little pan to the left. It's reverb on the right side, obviously. This is how it sounds without any plugin. This is the parametric EQ. Without it, there is a lot of rumble which is removed with this EQ setting. And this is the saturation. Let's move on to the other guitar on the other side. This is the guitar without any plugin. This is after the EQ without it, and some saturation, the reverb on the left, both of them together. Let's move on to the other guitar. This guitar is on the left. This is how it sounds without any plugin. This is the EQ and the saturation and the reverb on the right. Let's go to the other guitar on the opposite side of this. This is the sound of other guitar. This is the parametric EQ, some saturation, compressor, without them, with them. Let's move on to the other guitars. This is one more guitar on the left without any plugin. It sounds like with this EQ, without EQ, with EQ, some saturation, the reverb on the right. Now let's go on to the other guitar on the other side. This is the other guitar on the right without any plugin, with EQ, without EQ, with EQ, saturation, and the reverb on the left, both of them together. Let's move on to the other guitars. This guitar is in the center without any EQ. It sounds like this, only this much of sound. This is its EQ, the saturation, and this is the reverb in the center. Let's move on to the other guitar which is also in the center. This is the sound of the other guitar in the center. It's EQ. This was the reverb without the reverb, with the reverb, both of them together. Now let's move on to this other guitar. This guitar is panned to the left. This is without an EQ and reverb. It sounds like this. With EQ, without EQ, with EQ, some saturation, and the reverb on the right. So that was all in the guitars. Now I'll go to the background vocals. There are many. So in the vocals, I have got lots of vocals, all sending their signal to this vocal bus, where I have used this saturation plugin. So this is how it sounds without any reverb and without any wider plugin, but only saturation. Listen to it.
Danny, come around, around again, Danny. Danny, come
Now
around.
the EQ.
Danny, come
This is the EQ.
around. Can't you hear?
And this is the wider plugin. Just a little bit.
Danny, come around, around again, Danny. Danny, come around.
For the other vocals,
Danny, come around.
this is the other vocal.
Danny, come around, around again, Danny. Danny, come around. Danny, come around.
Without EQ.
Can't you hear?
With EQ and this wider
Danny,
plugin.
come around, around again, Danny. Danny, come around. Danny, come around. Can't you hear?
Both of them together.
Danny, come around again. Danny,
Let's
come
go to the other vocals.
around.
Okay, so these are some other background vocals. Without, I'll show you all of them together. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time. Let me play all these together. And without the reverb. This is how it sounds. This is without everything. Now let me add EQ. This is with EQ only. Now let me add the wider plugin. This is after adding wider and the reverb. Let's go to the other background vocals also.
Come around, come around.
After the EQ,
Danny, come around.
this is the EQ and this is the wider.
Danny, come around.
Okay, so I think I've covered all the background vocals. Let's move on to the lead vocals. This is how it sounds without any plugin.
Come and go. Come and go.
With EQ. With saturation.
All I know. Come and go, you glow.
These are my cut.
From the
And the vocals.
you have, but you can't show.
This is the Maximus.
Can't you hear? I hear.
This is my Maximus setting.
Then he come
And
around,
then
come
one more
around again.
compressor.
Then he come around again. I
Just this much. And now this vocal is sent to this vocal patcher where I have used this plugin. Small reverb, large reverb, small room reverb, large room reverb, and some other. Let's play one more time.
Come and go.
Let's add one by one.
Come and go.
This is reverb. This is large reverb. And I have removed these frequency from the reverb sound. Let me show you how this reverb sound, just the reverb. This is the reverb. This is the other reverb. Both of them together with vocal.
Can't you hear?
This is wider,
I hear.
just a little bit, and the slap delay.
Then he come around again.
Just
then
this
he
much.
come around again.
And this is how it sounds in the mix.
Come and go, you don't deny.
It sounds good.
Don't you know?
I think vocals is sitting perfectly in the mix.
Might be right on time.
And this is also a effect that I have used. I've created by automating the vocal panning.
I hear.
You can hear this vocal,
Danny, come around again.
this background
Danny,
vocal
Danny,
panning from
come
one end to the other end.
around. Can't you hear?
One more time.
Danny, come around
And in the
again.
mix it sounds
Danny,
like
Danny, come around. Can't you hear? Danny, Danny, come. I hear. Danny, come.
So this was my entire mixing session. This is how I mixed this song. I hope you liked it. It was a decent sounding one. Listen to one more time. I think the panning of instrument is also right. The guitars are perfectly panned, and the way I have used this drum loops, these drum loops is also nice. This is how I treated these drum loops. First, the way I EQ'd these drums are very nice. This one also. And the way all this processing is done, without them it sounds like this. This is how, without any processing and with all the plugins turned on, sounds good. These background vocals are creating magic. So that was the mix for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have anything to say about my mix, any mistake that you have found, please do mention in the comments. Thank you. The Telefunken, no, this was not from Telefunken, this was from, I think, Cambridge mt.com. Anyway, whosoever given this stem file, thank you so much. I think it was Cambridge MT, not Telefunken. So thank you, CambridgeMT.com. And also this band, I think this is the name of the band, Leaf. Thank you for making this beautiful song. Till then, keep learning, enjoy practicing. This is me signing off. Goodbye.